I've been lifting more consistently in the gym to start this year, and that means after a workout, I need meals that I actually look forward to eating, aren't super high in calorie, have a good amount of protein, and ideally take less than 20 minutes to make. Well, this spicy cumin lamb pita wrap with a cooling oregano lemon garlic yogurt sauce and some crispy french fries in the middle absolutely checks all the boxes. So in this video, I'm going to show you the pita wrap framework that I use. I'll break down why I'm using Aleppo pepper instead of standard red pepper flakes in the seasoned lamb. And lastly, I'm going to point out some macro saving substitutions I'm making along the way to show how you can still build a lot of flavor into your meals at home while keeping the calories under control. So let's break it down. This pita wrap follows the same PCSV framework that I recently talked about in a main channel video: protein, carbohydrate, sauce, and vegetable. But in this case, the whole idea actually started with my carbohydrate choice. And these thin 10-inch pitas are the star of the show. If you have a Middle Eastern bakery or deli near you, I highly recommend checking it out. It's the only place that I can reliably find these. Now, since it's a little out of the way for me, when I go, I'll typically grab 2 packs. One to use fresh and then one to throw in the freezer because they freeze incredibly well. And each of these pitas lands at around 250 calories and 9 grams of protein, making it a pretty efficient base to start a meal. So now that we have our carbohydrate choice, let's talk about the protein. For the meat filling, I grabbed out a pound of ground lamb and 2 spices, Aleppo pepper and whole cumin seeds. And once that pan is ripping hot, I'm just going to press the ground lamb straight down into it, and the goal here is to maximize the surface area contact. You don't need to touch it, just let this side brown for about 4 to 5 minutes. And as you can see, we'll start getting that deep browning developing around the edges, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Now, while the lamb was cooking, I did take the cumin seeds and give them a rough crush in my mortar and pestle. No need to grind them in a powder, we're just looking to start releasing those natural aromas and oils. So back of the lamb, once it's browned underneath, I just start breaking it up with my spatula in kind of medium-sized chunks, though you can go finer or bigger if you want to. Now, as you break it up, you'll notice that ground lamb tends to have quite a bit of fat in it, which you can absolutely keep in, but I'll typically drain some off by tilting the pan and letting it pool to one side before soaking it up with a paper towel and then just tossing it. However, you don't want to get rid of all that fat because the remaining bit in the pan is right where I'm going to put my spices. So first go in the crushed cumin seeds and then followed by a spoonful of that Aleppo pepper. And Aleppo pepper and cumin work really well here because they kind of hit different aromatic notes. Cumin is deep, earthy, and warm. It kind of builds that savory backbone, while Aleppo pepper is fruitier and tangier than standard red pepper flakes. And the reason why I like using Aleppo pepper so much is because it has what I would call a slower spice curve. So standard red pepper flakes are made with cayenne peppers and typically also have the seeds in them, and because of this have a higher concentration of capsaicin. So the spiciness kind of hits you right away. It's fast and sharp. Aleppo pepper, on the other hand, you get the fruity, kind of tangy pepper aroma first, but then that spiciness starts to build. Both absolutely work well, but they definitely yield kind of a different spicy experience. So back at the lamb, and after I stirred in those spices, I also added salt here as well, and always make sure you give this a taste as it goes. If it feels a little bit flat, it likely just needs a little more salt. And for a busy week, I like cooking the full pound all at once, and then I'll just toss it into the Cambro container to store for the week. A lot of times, I just end up eating spoonfuls from the container, but it's great for building more wraps, serving it over rice with hummus, or side salads as well. Okay, so now that I have the protein done, and it's kind of built with spicy and warm aromatics, this means I want to contrast it with a fresher tasting sauce. And this is why I decided on this lemon garlic oregano yogurt sauce, so let me show you how to make it. To start, I grabbed out a 2% plain Greek yogurt and then also grated about a half lemon's worth of zest and minced up 1 big garlic clove. Then right to the container, I added that minced garlic, the lemon zest, and a spoonful of dried oregano, but you could use any fresh or dried herb here, it's completely up to you. Then I followed my aromatics with a couple of liquids to kind of thin out the yogurt. A little squeeze of lemon juice for acidity, 10 grams of olive oil for a little richness and mouthfeel, and then I just finished this with a splash of water to balance out the consistency. And for this full container here, it's 215 calories and 15 grams of protein. So if I split this into 3 big servings for a wrap, it's around 72 calories and 5 grams of protein. And this is a great macronutrient when sauces are typically a very high fat and calorically dense item. And this is what's going to give us that room to add some French fries without blowing the calorie budget. And speaking of, the last item we need for this wrap to complete the framework are the vegetables. So for the French fries, I'm using just 50 grams or about 90 calories worth. French fries aren't inherently bad for you. It's more so that they're just very easy to overeat. So this is a good way to balance that. Then for the remaining vegetables, I grabbed out some lettuce, thinly sliced some white onion, and also grabbed a few slices of tomato. And now that we have all the components for our framework, it is time to assemble. To build the wrap, I heated it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. Then I added a layer of that yogurt sauce on the outside of the pita before following that with the leaf lettuce, the tomato slices, and the raw onion. Then I added about a third of the lamb we cooked over the top, followed by some more of the yogurt sauce, and this is when things are starting to look good. The French fries go over the sauce and lamb for that starchy crispness, and lastly, wrap this as tight as you can. And very importantly, I wrap this in a sheet of aluminum foil to let it steam for just a couple of minutes. And while I'm waiting, I put away the leftover lamb, threw the sauce back in the fridge, and put away anything else I needed. And when you open it up, it might not look Instagram perfect, but this thing absolutely hits the spot. If we look at the final macros for this full wrap, which is very filling, we're at about 708 calories, 48 grams of protein, 27 grams of fat, and 76 grams of carb. So it's pretty well balanced across the board. High protein, enough carbs to support training, and enough fat to make it satisfying. And most importantly, I genuinely look forward to eating this meal. So now you can see how this meal kind of checks all the boxes for me. It's quick and easy to make, pretty balanced as far as the macronutrients go, and most importantly, I genuinely can't wait to dive into this thing. The flavor profile is just so nice. You kind of get hit by that lemon, garlic, oregano yogurt sauce at first, but then it kind of blends the way as you bite through to the lamb, and then that heat kind of slowly builds from the Aleppo pepper. Mix it with a little bit of fresh vegetables and kind of that starchy interior from just a little bit of frozen French fries. I mean, that is just an absolutely fantastic meal. So as always, recipe for this will be in the description on cookwell.com. But another kind of little announcement, we do have the Cookwell app now, which is different than the website because what you can do with the recipes and frameworks on this is actually edit them to match the ingredients that you have. You can keep track of your grocery list. There's a calendar and a planner. So if you guys want to check out the Cookwell app, that will start to be linked down below. But as always, the recipe is just going to be up on the website if that's all you want. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Go make some type of pita wrap. You won't regret it. But that's going to wrap it up for me in this one. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace, y'all.